All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about something that affects literally every single man, but it's something we almost never think about, and that is the powerful, kind of hidden connection between your internal body clock and your testosterone. We're going to uncover how the rhythm of your day is directly shaping your hormonal health.
So, let's just kick things off with a question for you. In this modern world we live in, with the late-night screens, the demanding shift work, and what scientists actually call social jet lag, where your weekend self is on a totally different time zone than your weekday self, are we accidentally hijacking our own hormones? Well, the science is starting to suggest that the answer is a big, fat yes.
And look, this is not some small niche problem. Check out this number, 30%. That's a high-end guess for how much of the global workforce does at least one night shift a month. That is a huge number of people whose internal clocks are just constantly being thrown into chaos. And as you're about to see, that has some really serious consequences.
Okay, so to really get why this is such a big deal, we first need to understand the absolutely incredible, super intricate timekeeping system that's running inside every single one of your cells. It's truly a masterpiece of biology. So at the very heart of this is the circadian rhythm. And this isn't just about feeling sleepy or awake, It's more like a master controller, this roughly 24-hour cycle that's calling the shots on everything from your body temperature to exactly when hormones like testosterone should be released. And the number one cue for this entire system? It's light.
So how is this whole thing organized? Well, a great way to picture it is like this. You've got a central control tower, a master clock, in your brain. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN for short. This master clock gets its marching orders from light exposure. It then sends out signals to sync up all these little local clocks in your different organs, your liver, your pancreas, and, really important for our conversation today, and the testes.
Now, at the molecular level, this whole operation isn't magic. It's actually run by a very specific team of genes, and they're literally called clock genes. You can't make this stuff up. These are the tiny engines that are driving this whole 24-hour rhythm.
So how do they work? Well, it's this brilliant self-regulating feedback loop that takes, you guessed it, about 24 hours. Think of it in 3 simple steps. First, you've got an on switch. 2 genes called clock and BMAL1 get things started. Second, as they work, they create proteins that act like the brakes, and these build up all day long. Finally, once you have enough of these brake proteins, they block the on switch, hit the reset button, and the whole cycle shuts down. Then, overnight, those proteins fade away, and the system is ready to fire up again the next morning. It's a perfect molecular timepiece.
Okay, so we've got this beautiful gene loop running our body's clocks. Now, let's connect the dots and bring it right back to our main topic, male hormonal health. This is where the story gets really personal. So here is the crucial piece of the puzzle. Deep inside the testes, there are these specialized cells called Leydig cells. You can think of them as the body's testosterone factories. And what the research makes clear is that these factories don't just run at the same speed 24/7. No way. They have their own powerful local circadian clock, ticking away right in sync with the master clock in the brain. Testosterone production is designed to be rhythmic.
And here's exactly how it works. Those clock genes we just talked about, clock and BMAL1, they're not just timekeepers. Turns out they directly switch on the genes that are absolutely essential for making testosterone. They're like the factory managers, telling the assembly line when to start, how fast to run, and when to slow down for the day. And this is why your testosterone levels naturally peak in the morning and hit a low point in the evening. It's the clock genes just doing their job.
Okay, so what happens when this precise, elegant system gets broken? What are the real-world consequences when those timing signals get all scrambled up by our modern lifestyles? Well, this is where the trouble really starts.
It all comes back to this. All that stuff we mentioned at the start, shift work, crazy sleep schedules, and especially bright light from our screens late at night, those are powerful disruptive signals. They create a total mismatch, a dysynchronization between the master clock in your brain and the local clocks in your body, including that really important one in your lighting cells. The control tower is saying it's midnight, but the factory floor thinks it's noon. And the long-term consequences of this mess are, well, they're pretty significant. Studies are directly linking it to things like late-onset hypogonadism, where a broken clock basically makes you hormonally older than you are. It's connected to vascular problems that can lead to erectile dysfunction. It affects male fertility. In fact, get this, some studies show night shift work could nearly quadruple the risk of infertility. And even more seriously, this clock disruption is being linked to the risk and progression of prostate cancer. This is not trivial stuff.
But here is the good news, and it's really good news. This entire system is designed to be reset every single day. We are absolutely not powerless here. We can take active, deliberate steps to resynchronize our clocks and reclaim our hormonal health. So the question is, how do we do it?
Here are 4 incredibly powerful, practical things you can do. First, consistency is king. A regular sleep schedule, and yes, that means on weekends too, is the #1 anchor for your rhythm. Second, manage light like it's a drug. Get bright, natural light first thing in the morning, and then block or filter that blue light from your screens for 2 to 3 hours before bed. Third, time your meals. Eating is a powerful signal to your local clocks, so avoiding late-night snacks helps keep everyone on the same page. And finally, if you are a shift worker, you have to be strategic about your sleep and light to lessen the damage as much as you possibly can.
And what's really exciting here is that this whole understanding is moving way beyond just lifestyle advice and into some pretty cutting-edge medicine. There's a new field emerging called chronotherapy, and it's all about timing medical treatments to work with our body's natural rhythms, not fight against them.
This quote from a clinical study just sums it up perfectly. Instead of just giving a guy testosterone whenever, they're timing the dose for the morning, which is when the body would naturally produce it the most. And the result? It mimics the body's own rhythm and actually improves symptoms for patients. It's just about working smarter with our biology.
So we've seen that your body has this magnificent internal clock that is directly in charge of your hormonal health. We've seen how modern life can break it and the serious consequences that can follow. But most importantly, we've seen how we can start to fix it. So the question becomes pretty simple, really. Your body's clock is ticking right now. What is one change you're going to make to start syncing up with it tonight?